Look, you're already in here without me. I was finishing up a call with my boss. Let me turn this down a little bit, adjust this a little bit. How is everybody doing? Turn it down a little, turn it down a little more. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. What are you up to? Hi, ladies. How goes it? Congratulations. Hey, Mom. Look at that. My mom joined us for Valentine's Day. How fun is that? Congratulations, Pamela. That's awesome. Where did you finish your AOW at? Mom, that means advanced open water. Dominican Republic, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you like the calendar? Isn't it great? So the photographer, her name is Stacy. She and I went to high school together. Didn't know that she was into diving. Um, till I don't know, in the last year or so. And once I found out that she was a diver, she's also an instructor. She may even be a tech instructor. She's a PADI instructor, but she has this monstrosity of a camera, and it is incredible just to look at. So her pictures are incredible. Like, I am absolutely in love with her calendar. Mom, I owe you one, don't I? I owe you a calendar. I do. I owe my mom a calendar. Um, Tell me all about the Dominican Republic, Pamela. Did you enjoy the diving there? You know what, Josie? That's smart, because once the calendar is done, what are you gonna do with the pictures? Frame them. That's brilliant. Here, while we are engaging in some of the chat here, let me do a couple things here real quick, guys. Give me just a second. Oops. There we go. Just see if we can add a couple more people. It had great viz, deep dive. Awesome. St. George's Rec. So in the classes that you did your taste testing on for your advanced open water, which did you pick, or did your instructor pick? If I remember, when I did advanced open water, I think we did Fish ID, Deep, Night, and there may have been a sample rec in there. And that would be my cat losing her mind, or one of them anyway. I see a couple of other people have joined. Who else is here? Come say hi. Let's see. You did buoyancy. We all need that. Fish ID, deep boat diving and navigation. Boat diving, that's awesome. So that's probably one of the classes that I've always wanted to take. I grew up on boats, that I have not taken. So that's definitely something that I may even still consider in open circuit in the future. I grew up on the Chesapeake Bay, out in, the Baltimore area, and my stepdad had the idea that, to teach me to swim, that he would throw me overboard, and, that's how I ended up with my affinity and love for boats. Growing up on them, him throwing me overboard, and, we would always attend right? We would attend, the Baltimore Boat Show, and it had all the boats that you could possibly think of, just like anybody else, who has a boat show. You have your fishing boats and your speed boats and your ski boats and, your slightly larger luxury boats, and I remember, as a kid crawling around the inside of the nicer boats, trying to see how many small spaces that I could get into, which, for a kid, was very entertaining. That and I always remember the extremely tall lady in heels. Mom, I'm sure you remember who I'm talking about. But yes, that I learned to swim by my stepdad throwing me overboard. And, well, by the end of the summer, I was jumping off the flying bridge or diving off the flying bridge, so I guess it worked out okay for me. I wonder if I need to turn that down a little bit. So it's Valentine's Day. I've worked all day. I worked all day yesterday. I wanted to get It's been beautiful the last 2 days here in Georgia. I learned to swim in high school. I was lucky enough that by the time swim lessons came around in 5th grade, that I had already had enough skill that, I did not require a whole lot of additional lessons when it came to grade school skill sets for swimming. Additionally, by the time I got to adulthood, I mean, I'm great at doggy paddling, right? And breaststroke and freestyle, I'm not the greatest at, but if you just leave me to my own devices, I can swim forever. I don't have a whole lot of, I'm not going to be a lifeguard ever, but at the risk of sounding stupid, I'm in Florida. Besides cave and boat, what other types of diving is there? So, Josie, there's also drift diving, which is essentially where the current will carry you the entire length of the dive. You jump off the back of the boat with your group. Typically, the way that a dive master will run that is that you'll all go off in a line and immediately go down. Everybody kind of stay together, and you'll go down to whatever depth you're going to be at for that particular dive. And by the time someone hits their turning point, if you use the rule of thirds, by the time someone hits their turning point, someone is throwing up an SMB and it hitting the surface, and then those folks will that person and their dive buddy will go up, or sometimes folks will switch dive buddies in order to extend their bottom time. This last trip in Cozumel, which is nothing but drift diving, one of the other gentlemen and my best friend, their sack rates were similar, so they would ascend together while the rest of us would kind of stay down a little bit longer. Drift dive, but the boat diving also, right, yes. The boat diving class is more about the anatomy of the boat and, the lines in the boat. So, you have your, mooring line, or they'll do a granny line or a tow line, and it does a lot to teach you about the boat itself, not necessarily just jumping off the back of a boat and getting back on a boat safely, but, giving you the anatomy of the boat as part of the boat diving class. Let's see. Anybody else out there who wants to say hi? Where the emergency oxygen is, right. Yeah, and it's just like the briefing, right? When you get on a boat and you're going out to the dive site, the team, your operations team, your captains, mates, dive masters, they're all working on making sure that you have during the boat briefing before, you get out to the site, where the equipment is, where life jackets are, the EPIRB, whether or not it is where it's located on the boat, usually somewhere on the bridge or the roof, your emergency channel for communication, things like that. That's a new one for me, thanks. Of course, of course. I absolutely do not know everything, but, I am happy to share what I do know, and if I don't know, I know people who do, which is the cool thing. So, one of the, other things that, I think would be cool for an advanced open water, it's just like a sampler platter, really. Um Navigation, definitely a course that everybody should take. I like the idea of it being a combination of natural navigation and being able to use compasses and other gear to navigate while you're underwater, since no one has electronic navigation GPS underwater yet. I'm sure that, somewhere along the lines in the next 10, 15, 20 years, they'll solve that problem. They're getting close. They're absolutely getting close. But navigation is a great skill to have regardless of whether you're on land or on water, and it's applicable no matter where you are. Let's see, what else did you do? Boat diving, deep, and fish ID. So during my fish ID class, they had us drawing pictures of the fish that we saw on our slates. That's great, except I can't draw to save my life. So I got the fish symbol and, you know, dorsal fins and tried to illustrate the things that I saw on the fish. It was not helpful. You get out of the water and try to look up the fish based on what you saw. I'm writing notes, copious notes to describe the fish because my artistic talent is less than that of a kindergartner. I've seen more artistic talent with kids and crayons. Ah. But Josie, those are not necessarily the only types of diving there are. I mean, there's all sort ice diving. If you are brave, I am not. I do not like to be cold. There's ice diving, and the ice diving class. I know that they teach you. I mean, everything from tri- cutting out the triangle in the ice while you do a triangle. Your line from the surface to where you're going to go to make sure that you can find your way back out. There's a whole impressive, in my opinion, course on doing ice diving. To me, that's just too cold. Even with a dry suit, the propensity for gear problems. I know that they have regs and equipment that's rated for those temperatures, but I don't know that I'm brave enough to do those just yet. Yeah, exactly. No ice for me. Thank you very much. If there's ice, it should be in a drink. I'm just saying, ice should be in a drink. So, are we all here because we have no plans at this point in the evening? Because I have no plans. I just finished work, just got off, literally just got off a call with one of my bosses. 3, 4. I have 4 bosses, and I had a conversation with 2 of them, and that would be my cat still losing her mind. So I have absolutely no plans this evening. I have no necessary accomplishments that I have to do this evening. I wanted to go for a ride just because it's been so beautiful the last 2 days here in Georgia. But yesterday I worked a 10+ hour day right through sunset, which makes me cry. And then today I wanted to go for a ride also, but had and no, I should give her catnip. That would be amazing. She's just for whatever reason got a bug up her butt and losing her mind all over the place. But the weather has been so beautiful that I was hoping to get on the motorcycle yesterday and today, and life had other plans, well, work had other plans. Um, my calendar, both yesterday and today, were just absolute trash, so it did not allow me to get out. See, and you took your vet out yesterday. What part of Illinois are you in? You don't have to tell me the exact town or street that you live on. We lived in the, Cary area for about 3.5 years, just outside of Crystal Lake. Right on. One of my favorite things to do when we lived out there was to get in the car on the weekend and go up to Lake Geneva. Not a whole lot of diving to do that direction, but, um, I absolutely loved that area. It was absolutely gorgeous. But the weather is not gonna hold out for going for a ride in the next couple of days. I think the rain is due to come back. I'm hoping that the weather will improve over the weekend so I can go for a ride this weekend. I cannot tell who else is here because no one else has been brave enough to say hello. But for the ladies who have been chatting with me, I don't know how much you guys know about Dive Talk, but half of the duo was the previous owner of my new motorcycle, and it is an incredible bike. I am absolutely head over heels in love with riding this thing, and, gonna ride oh, yeah, and gonna ride every chance that I get. I went to a riders group in the area here this last weekend and met some really cool people. Not a lot of female riders. Look, me playing in another space where it's mostly men. Gee, surprise, not. Um, it is an Indian Scout bobber, and it is white smoke, I guess. Yes, Pamela, I'm so excited. I will be at the Dive Talk meetup. I'm one of the trip leaders for that. I will likely be paired with, the rebreather diver since I'll be diving my rebreather on that trip. But the number of rebreather divers that there are versus open circuit, we're bound to run into each other. There's no way. Absolutely find me, come say hi. I hope you're a hugger because I'm absolutely a hugger. But I absolutely cannot wait for the Cozumel trip. But it is a 2021 Indian Scout Bobber, and it is so much fun to ride. So my oldest and I took the motorcycle safety class. He was getting really, really serious about buying a bike. He was gonna buy his best friend's bike, and I'm like, "Okay, if you're gonna get serious about this, I need to know that you've taken the safety class, that you're" and he's like, "Okay, fine, I'll take the safety class." That's what he wanted for Christmas. And he's like, "Do I have to wait for Christmas to do it? Because if I'm gonna buy this" and I'm like, "Okay, fine. If you're gonna buy the bike, let's go take the class together. We'll do it together." We did the class. He decided that his best friend's motorcycle was not the type of bike that he wanted. So he hasn't bought a bike and I have. So he's on a little bit on the jealous side. Poor kid. I say kid, he's almost 24. But when he actually finds a bike, then we'll be able to ride together, which was the whole point of the thing. Let's see. I have people trying to are you still in your car? Hang on one second. So let me close a couple of things here. I have too many windows open. Part of the problem of having multiple computers. But yeah, it's fun. It's another risk task, risk activity, risk sport. But I think it's another one of those things that if you are smart about how you ride and just like diving, if you are utilizing good training. There's always going to be a mode of risk when there are other vehicles on the road, but when you get on the bike, you're assuming that risk, right? So, you have to be smart, you have to be vigilant, and it has definitely made me open my eyes as a driver of a vehicle, in watching my behaviors and driving habits on the road. So I think it has made me a more consciously aware driver, having been on a motorcycle around other vehicles. Now, if I wish that everybody else would have that kind of conscious thought or um, thinking around riding and being on the road with motorcycles, but I have to act like they are not having that forethought. So, let's see. We have people coming and going, which is fine with me. Let's see, what else can we talk about? My dive plan's coming up. I just recently got my petrol back from Richard at Divetronics, and he fixed my computer, thank goodness, because it was misbehaving on an epic level. I would have to reseat the battery for it to not power off, or if it would power off, it wouldn't turn back on, or you couldn't toggle the buttons. And the sad thing is in order to fix it, I believe he had to basically drill out the buttons that were previously in it. So he fixed that. It's working like a brand new computer. I'm very excited. Now I need to get it back in the water. Um, I have decided that the additional layers that I wear in the springs when I'm diving to stay warm, the ExoWear line is not enough to keep me warm with my 7 mil. What I am learning is that the shark skin titanium line, it's rated to 68 degrees as a primary exposure. However, you get below 68 degrees or you get close to 68 degrees, and you're going to get chilly if you are a person who ends up getting cold easily. So that's me. So the equivalent of the shark skin titanium is the equivalent of um, hang on a second. If you talk to Gus, please let him know that it's taking me a little longer to mail the custom bread clips, but we'll be mailing them shortly. I Next time I see him or talk to him, I absolutely will let him know that. Um, I have no idea when that will be, but I will let him know that. Um, what was I talking about? The ExoWear and the shark skin. So the titanium layered underneath my 7 mil, I will stay warmer longer. They absolutely, absolutely. I will stay warmer longer with the shark skin titanium than with the ExoWear. I think that it's also, the material, the feel against your skin is relatively the same. I do like the socks that the shark skin line has. Very, very fuzzy. It's very, comforting against your feet if your feet get cold relatively easily, which, after dropping 130 pounds, I, stay in a state of cold. Um, so there is a dry suit in my future. But while I'm waiting for the dry suit that I want to be released, I will be continuing to layer while I'm in the springs. Oh, geez. I can't think of anything. Okay. Uh, so, what was the shark skin in the springs, covered that. Hopefully plan to get back down to Florida here in the next couple of weeks, and to get back under the water, I have hours and experience to collect so I can get, um more training, right? The ultimate goal is to move towards cavern and cave. I do have plans to go do some buoyancy training and trim and buoyancy work with Mediata Cave Adventurers in April. What was your Valentine grub? I don't have any grub. Um, I am. How about I have no plans this evening. Um, it is a holiday that I've never really found enjoyment in. Um, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. It is a complicated, complex commercial holiday that comes with a lot of expectations and um, it's very easy to put too many expectations on people and be disappointed by them. So I'm gonna Miley Cyrus that bitch up, buy myself flowers, hold my own damn hand. Ah, does that make any sense, Josie? Agreed. Yeah. I am a person who tends to really put a whole lot of energy into my partner and do a lot of things to make them feel loved, respected, appreciated, and seen. And when that doesn't get reciprocated, or if it in the past when it's not been reciprocated, it hurts my feels. I feel intensely. Um, I love intensely. I get hurt intensely. But I am a just one of those Piscean people who is rather emotional. My mom used to tell me I wear my feelings on my sleeve, which is pretty true, even even to this day. And check this out. We are just under 30 days away from my birthday, and I'm going to be the ripe old age of 21 with 25 years experience. Can I say it that way? I mean, y'all can do the math. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna be 21 with 25 years experience come March 11th and, looking to figure out what I'm gonna do for my birthday. The weekend after, March 18th, I am having a house party here in Atlanta where my friends, family, whoever decides to show up, is gonna show up, and my cover band will play for the evening. So, I'm excited about that. I'm of legal age now, right? 25 times over. Ah, well, thank you for the happy early birthday. I appreciate that. Um, or some people say, it'll be the 25th anniversary of my 21st birthday. You know, um, yeah. But we'll have some folks over. I have rules around how people choose to party at my house. If you are a person who is local and you drink, I ask that you stay, or mind your drinking and be smart about your intake. Otherwise, you're sleeping on my floor, couch, or a bed somewhere or something. And anyone who ends up staying, I usually make breakfast the next morning for whoever is left over. The very first party we had in this house, we had 25 people spend the night, and I made biscuits and gravy for everyone the next morning. Um, that was quite an adventure, but a cool one. That was an epic party. The last party that we had prior to COVID was another. Oh, absolutely, safety first. Um, we had lots of people over, and we were trying to replicate a jellyfish shot. It was the nastiest. The nastiest, most disgusting thing that we had ever put in our mouth. It was just gross. Um, but we ended up figuring out the right combination to make the cream in the shot bounce so it looked like a jellyfish, but it was not one that visually appealing, fun to make it happen, 'cause science, but it was just gross. Unless you like cream and licorice, black licorice, it would not be something and it was weird because it was blue curacao and sambuca and cream. So that's orange, black licorice, and cream. To me, that is just not a yummy combination. It was gross. By the end of the night, we were doing things like cinnamon toast crunch shots or something ridiculous. I don't remember. But we tend to go all out here for the parties here. We have black lights that we throw up. We have lasers, and I usually do that, glow reflective tape everywhere that'll sit still. And this time, my band is going to play, which will be cool before we start playing out in public, which is also going to be fun. And then I have Indonesia coming up in April, which will be an interesting trip. It takes 2 days to get there. 2 days to get there and 2 days to get back and 10 days on the Volusian, so I'm quite excited about that. And I'll be volunteering for the NSSCDS Cave Conference in May, which will also be fun. There'll be lots of people who will be teaching and sharing content. One of my favorite photographers will be there, Fan Ping. Hey, FA, happy Valentine's Day. Oh, it's not Valentine's Day for you anymore. You're already on the 15th. But hello, sir. Lovely to see you. How are you? How's the family? How's the friends? Everybody doing okay considering? Type a little faster, FA. I'm aging. Josie, the interesting thing is that Indonesia is world renowned for its diving, the colors, just the fact that so much flows through that region, that the reef systems and the coral life and, the vegetation are supposed to be something to behold. So I can't wait to go see it for myself and experience what it's like firsthand, providing psychological support for victims. I commend you. I think that it is amazing that you guys are providing support for people. Me and the kids have been together for 5 days now, and they still have their fingers and toes. You haven't killed any of your children, right? You very funny. Yes, you showed her all your children have survived 5 days with just you. Hi, Brian. Happy Valentine's Day. Look at all you fun people showing up to hang out with me. Yeah, the sad thing is there is no easy way for folks to recover from what happened in Turkey. That is going to take a very long time for survivors and for those who have been in the thick of it. Um, my prayers and thoughts definitely with everyone over there. On to diving related news. About to finish rescue. Fantastic. It only took you how long? What's next? What else are you going to do, FA? Besides not come to the States and attend my party March 18th. Yeah, that's very sad. I'm very sorry to hear that. You're going pro. Outstanding. I'm proud of you for making that commitment. That's so awesome. Now, tech diving is in there somewhere, yes? Yeah, there you go. Dry suit, then CCR. So I did it a little reversed. I should have did dry suit long before I did jumped into CCR, but dry suit will come. It's on the list of things to accomplish. So did your kids do anything fun for you for Valentine's Day, or did they just say, "Dad, feed me dinner"? Yes, finish TDI open circuit, gonna wait for a rebreather to continue. Fair enough. Fair enough. There's a lot of changes happening in the rebreather world right now, so I don't blame you. There's also some very interesting developments happening on the KISS side. So it'll be interesting to see where things go and what developments are released here in the next year or so. I'm very interested and intrigued to say the least. Yes, I have seen it. So it is very sleek. If you the interesting you just finished CCR. That's awesome. Congratulations. What unit did you pick? So the Sidewinder 2.0 is very, very interesting unit. Stop it, FA. Revo, congratulations. That's awesome. Who was your instructor? If you say Mel Clark, I'm gonna cry. It was Mel Clark. Oh, I absolutely love her. I was wondering, I had, I don't know, Spidey Sense said that, Spidey Sense, I watch her posts. I'm absolutely a fan of hers. As a matter of fact, I have her CCR simplified book that, as the channel grows, I'm gonna give that away. I'm hoping, cross my fingers, I'm hoping that she will be at the NSS CDS Cave Conference in May, and if I can connect with her, I'm gonna ask her to autograph the book before I give it away. Um, Dr. Mel Clark previously was based out of the Seattle area, but she has since relocated to Florida to Cave Country because retirement looks fantastic on her. So she is in the Florida area. Well, today, I think either today or yesterday, she was flying somewhere. So she's not currently in the country, I don't think. But yes, she is now based out of Cave Country and teaching all the time out in High Springs. Yes, sir. But she is absolutely a Revo fanatic, which is I love the fact that we have such an amazing community that I mean, she is certified on a ridiculous number of units. Did you know that? Because I mean, like a ridiculous number of rebreathers she's certified on, and I believe certified to teach. Just ridiculous. Like, I just want to, grab a hold of her brain and absorb it for a little bit. Osmosis, will it work? I'm not sure. I wanna try, you know? But she's one of those amazing folks that I would absolutely love to interview, but I need to go make my introductions first, so but I have poked around in her Facebook posts and shown her some love. So, I'm excited to potentially meet her if she's gonna be at the NSSCDS conference in May. Technical wreck diving. That's awesome. One of the things that you learn when you get into technical wreck diving is line work. It is more than just applicable to just cave and cavern diving. Now the bad news. Came home with swimmer's ear. Oh no, and a hernia. What in the world did you do? Swimmer's ear. We all know that those things happen. Doesn't the good doctor also have a book on kiss rebreathers? Her book, I don't think is specifically kiss. I think it's just CCR simplified. Hang on. I I thought I had it in the drawer, but it's probably I think it's in my pile of books that direction. Um, I think it's just CCR simplified. Let me look it up. Dr. Mel Clark, CCR, if I could spell, simplified. Mm-mm-mm. She has a number of books because she's awesome. Rebreather simplified. So it is not KISS specific. It's Rebreather Simplified, a complete guide to choosing, understanding, and diving a closed circuit rebreather. So she, if because I haven't made it all the way through the book itself, I'm about halfway through. It is rebreathers in general. That's awesome. If I can, I'm gonna give away um, the second copy that I have if I can get her to sign it in May, which will be cool. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? Love your shirt, by the way. This is actually a fleece, like, zip up, so it's like a jacket almost, which is really, really nice. Because I stay cold, I constantly have to have something on. Bad decisions, absolutely. 7 moons and Chantilly, if I could spell. Mhm. Let's see, what's the material on it's just fleece. It's a very nice fleece, and, it has the Indian logo or the Indian lettering, very stitched. It's not like a sticker or anything, it's stitched. Indian motorcycle, and then it has the same thing on the back, which is really, really nice, but it's warm, and it has pockets. It has pockets, and it has pockets on the inside, and let's see. I have stuff in my pockets that's warm because it's been against my body. Because everybody needs moisturizer every once in a while, right? Absolutely. How am I liking the bike? Well, what I can say is that Gus took very good care of his bike, which is now mine, so he can't call it that anymore. Um, I am in love with the bike itself. So, man, you know what I should have did? I should have did it on the phone today and then taken you and shown you the bike. I have not named her yet. I am dying to get her a name. So I'm kind of sitting with that because I want to make sure that whatever name I pick or that comes to me that it is what it's going to be. You know what I mean? It is definitely female, least from the way that I'm feeling about it. She is an incredible machine. She's an incredible machine. And, I'm practicing just like anything else. It requires getting on it and riding and practicing. And initially when I had rented a bike before I bought Gus's bike, from the Indian dealer down by Mall of Georgia, and my I didn't have a whole lot of confidence initially. So being on the street with cars, my speed, getting up to speed was definitely lacking some initiative. But now that I've been riding pretty steadily as much as possible when the sun is shining or it's not raining here in Georgia, I have definitely increased my skill set. I don't blame you, FA. When you get back into the States, I don't know what that would look like being able to get you to a place not having a US driver's license, if they would let you. Pocahontas. I knew where you were going, Josie. No big deal. Pockets are amazing in women's clothing. Like the fact that I have something with pockets just it makes me excited. I'm quite happy to have pockets. But it's cool, right? Because so one of the cool things that Gus did for this bike was make it a remote key versus a turnkey to start the bike. So it is just a key fob. I stick it in my pocket, and as long as it's in my pocket, I'm good. So I love it. How long did it take for you to adjust your buoyancy control to CCR? So, Mr. Ernest, do you go by Ernest or do you go by Ernie or do you go by some other variation? Like a proximity key? Absolutely, FA. Ernest. So I am still dealing I got certified in CCR in July, and I am still dealing with trim and buoyancy, which is why I'm gonna go work with, Mehdi Zanetti out at, Cave Adventurers in April. Um, I am not saying that my trim and buoyancy is not on point, it just lacks a little je ne sais quoi. It is missing some love. So, what better way to do that than to have someone else observe you who is great at it and help you make adjustments where you need to? So, part of my issue is when I'm trying to be in trim, my O2 first stage makes me tilt to the right. So, what do I need to do about that? Do something on my left shoulder, maybe 1 pound or so, that will offset that and trim me back out the other direction, right? But it is a steel plate and in a 7 mil with additional layers, no additional weight. I'm still too heavy once I get saturated. Once all the water is in my wetsuit and I'm saturated, I'm still too heavy. Once I have donned my left and right tank, I am sinking like a rock. And I can fill my BC with as much air. I can have max loop volume and I'm still too heavy. Now I can attempt to switch out my back plate for a different material, which may end up being what I do. However, when I switch to dry suit, it's all a moot point anyway, right? Because I'm going to manage my buoyancy with the dry suit, but I'm not there yet. And the dry suit that I want to purchase does not come out until May, which means that I don't know when they'll allow me to send in my measurements to have it custom cut. And if it still takes as long as some of my other people in my circle took to get their dry suit finished, I'm looking at ordering in May when it is released and 4 months to produce. So I won't get it until like September, October. So in the meantime, I need to work on my trim and buoyancy. That way, when I start line work, I'm not a fumbling idiot because right now it's going to look bad. FA, the dry suit that I want is the fourth element Argonaut 3.0, 2.0, whatever the one that's getting ready to come out. I think it's a 2.0 or 3.0, but it's the new one that is supposed, according to what we saw at DEMA, will be released in May. I haven't mentioned it today, but I have mentioned it before. Let's see, what other questions did I miss? Oh, so the proximity key. I need to get stainless steel backplate for doubles, but I'm holding off for CCR. That makes total sense. So the proximity key is just like a remote start for the bike. Put it in my pocket, and I don't have to actually turn a key to start the bike. Have the kill switch not engaged in kill and start the bike. No big deal, and it's kind of cool. You have one for the car. It's amazing. Yes. It's really nice. Right now, the only thing I really need a key for is the gas tank and the seat. So he had put on a custom seat that is far more comfortable, and the key lets you either change it out to what was there previously or access any small storage that's underneath the seat. Walk up, get in, press in. Yep, that's exactly how it starts. I turn the power on to the bike, and then as soon as it's finished its start cycle, then I can actually start the engine. It's pretty smooth because I love the bike. Like if it wasn't dark, I'd be out here. but I wanna get out there and ride. It is so I am a person who has ADHD, and my brain tends to go 7,000,000 miles a minute, and I hyper focus on details, and, math is not necessarily my friend, but if I practice, just like anything else, I can memorize formulas and then I won't have any issues plugging things in numbers wise. But the reason I went CCR is because I like the complexity and the fact that you have to hyper focus on details and pay attention to exactly what you're doing, or you are going to get yourself in trouble, right? When you are open circuit, I call it plug and play because it essentially is literally you get your gear on, you plug it in, you go to depth. I mean, you still monitor your air consumption and what you're doing, but there's not a whole lot of tasks to keep you engaged unless you're just staring at what's happening around you or, there's a whole lot of watch and wait. And like I'm not a photographer, so the idea of having that kind of task is not something that is appealing to me. So I don't necessarily want to sit there and play with a camera because then I feel like I'm missing something because then I'd be too hyper focused on the details of the camera itself. But I like the technical aspects of managing the unit yourself. I like the fact that you constantly have to pay attention to your PO2. I like the fact that you're making manual adjustments when you're in transition. There's a lot of details to pay attention to. So that was the entire attractiveness for CCR for me. I like to lower trimix bills. Well, once you start playing with that helium, that stuff gets a little on the expensive side. Even if I'm 53, my mother would kill me if I was to buy a bike, but I always wanted one. So, story time. Um, I am one of 4 girls, and my dad got around. There was 4 girls and 3 moms, and, dad was busy. My dad, my biological father, was a motorcycle rider, and some of the only pictures I have of him are of him on a motorcycle. So I have always wanted to oh, thank you, Sam. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for stopping in. I, wanted to so there's some of the only pictures I had of my biological dad are him on his motorcycle. So I've always had that in the back of my head, um, what it would be like to do something that he did or that he connected to. One of the only other pictures that I have of him is in on crutches from laying his bike down. But, this was still something in the back of my mind that I wanted to get engaged in and see what it would be like and would I like it and is our propensity for risky activities like motorcycle riding, scuba diving, is some of that genetic? I don't know. I don't know that I know enough about, behaviors and nature versus nurture to know if those types of things I'm not read up on it, so I don't know where that line would fall. But he did it. He loved it. Would I? So that's my the excuse came about when my son was getting serious about buying a motorcycle from his best friend. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let you take this class by yourself. Um, and that's how that was born. So I get to hang out with my kid, my baby boy who is, almost 24 years old, and, do things like ride bikes with him and go diving with him, things like that. Um, and Indian is a great bike. I will tell you that the class we took on Harleys, because it was, at a Harley dealership, and the bike at um, let's see. Happy Valentine's Day, Terry. Thank you, Tom's Outdoors Adventures. I gave up motorcycle after nearly hitting a moose. Oh my goodness, not a moose. 1 month after that, a good friend hit a deer on the highway and didn't make it. I miss riding though. It just took up well, I totally understand that completely. When riding, it is not if, it's when. Yep, it's just like diving, right? Especially CCR. It is not a matter of if something goes wrong, but when something goes wrong and how you handle it, how you manage it, and doing what you need to do to survive. Um, so yes, I completely agree with you, Sam. And Tom, I totally understand. Um, I have had some folks try to talk me out of being on a bike. Um, One of my dear friends in Tennessee, she and her husband own Renegade Classics in Chattanooga. Her best friend lost her life in a bike-related incident. So I have my one of my brother's dearest friends, who lives in the Nashville area, also, I have plenty of people in my world who have horror stories, but those are the risks that you assume when you're doing motorcycle riding. Let's see. Never heard of someone almost hitting a moose. Well, Effa, you don't live in an area where you're gonna hit a moose, so there's that. I'm hooked on diving just after 6 dives. I live in Canada and came to your channel via Dive Talk. Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. I have known Gus and Woody for a number of years. Your cat is video bombing. She does that. She's one of 3, so she's just out here running around like a crazy person. Well, a crazy cat. But that's my grumpy old lady. She would jump inside my skin if I let her. Um, in Canada, FA, they have the potential to run into a moose. Hence why I'm gonna wait until I'm in the States before I ride. Not that it doesn't happen, but yeah, I get that completely. Let's see. Most of my major body aches and scars are from riding, racing, motorcycle. Diving is much safer. My brother rides several different types of bikes, and he takes us to the track and gets up to speeds that I would not even consider. So I completely understand that. If I ever take up motorcycles again, I'd love to tour bikes, tour the Black Hills. So beautiful there. I believe that. I believe that a whole lot. Give me just 1 second, guys. Let's see. SD. Are you talking about scuba diving, FA? Oh, South Dakota. Sturgis, yes. Sturgis is a major, major deal for people who ride bikes all the time. That's like the mecca in the US. But it sounds like they do all these types of major rides and gathers all over the US, not just Sturgis. At least I'm learning that these days. Was a '78 Honda XL 125. Nice. Well, guys, I hate to do this, but I have to jump on a work call and I'm late. So I'm gonna have to bounce. I hope you guys have a great night. And that's okay. Go back to bed, FA. It's 3 a.m. Good Lord. You guys have a great rest of your evening. If I can come back on later, I will. Otherwise, have a great night and I will be back soon.